I never thought I'd hear from my sister Kelly again, not after 12 long years of silence. But that day, when I opened my mailbox, there it was, a thick envelope, pure white and fancy-looking, almost like a bomb waiting to blow up everything I thought I had left behind. On the front, in big, swirly gold letters, was her name, Kelly Morgan. My name is Abigail. I'm 30 years old now. Most days, I do a pretty good job pretending I don't have a family at all. I keep my distance. I stay busy. But that Tuesday afternoon, when I held that invitation in my hand, everything I thought I'd buried came rushing back like a flood: hurt, anger, confusion, and a strange little spark of hope. Kelly is 32 now. I guess, the last time I saw her face to face, I was just 18. That was the day I left our parents' house for good. I stood on my old porch, turning the invitation over and over in my hands, as if it might tell me what to do. Kelly Morgan requests the pleasure of your company at her engagement celebration. It said. The party was at Ljardan, the fanciest restaurant in our town. I had to read it 3 times, just to believe it was real. Why now? Why me? After all those years of no calls, no texts, no nothing, why would Kelly suddenly want me to come to her engagement party? I didn't know if I should laugh, cry, or scream. 4 days, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I went back and forth. Part of me wanted to rip the invitation up and forget the whole thing. The other part, the stupid, hopeful part, wondered if maybe Kelly had changed. Maybe she wanted to fix what she'd broken. Maybe this was her way of saying sorry, or trying to be my sister again. The night before the party, I called Aunt Sarah. She's the only family member I've kept in touch with over all these years. Hey, Aunt Sarah, I said, I got an invitation to Kelly's engagement party. Maybe she wants to reconnect. Aunt Sarah sighed on the other end. Abby, people don't really change that much. I know, I said, but maybe I should just go, see for myself. So the next evening, I put on my best dress, a simple black one I usually wore to work dinners, and drove to Ljardan. The restaurant was even fancier than I remembered. There was valet parking and a doorman standing tall in his uniform. Inside, sparkling chandeliers lit up tables covered in white cloth, shining glasses, and polished silverware. I walked up to the reception desk, where a woman in a sharp black blazer smiled at me. Good evening, I'm here for the Morgan engagement party. My name is Abigail Morgan. She flipped through a list on her clipboard, her brow furrowing. Then she looked up, shaking her head. I'm sorry, but I don't see your name here. My heart sank. I was about to say something when I heard a voice behind me. What are you doing here? I turned. It was Kelly. She looked exactly like I remembered, but more polished, designer dress, perfect makeup, every hair in place. You invited me, I said, holding up the invitation. Kelly laughed, but it wasn't a kind laugh. It was cold and sharp. How could you think I'd invite you here? She said, looking me up and down. Look around, Abigail, these people are important. You don't belong. The receptionist shifted awkwardly, pretending to sort papers. Kelly, you sent me an invitation. Why? I asked. To show you what you're missing, Kelly said, voice full of satisfaction. Where I am now, and where you'll never be. Please leave before you embarrass yourself. I saw our parents walk by, all dressed up. Mom gave me a little wave, like I was a stranger, and kept going. Dad didn't even look my way. Something inside me broke. I kept my head high and walked out. Only once I was safely inside my car with the doors locked did I let the tears fall. But honestly, I wasn't shocked, not really. As I drove home, memories came rushing back. Growing up, it was always about Kelly. She got the best toys, the newest gadgets, and unlimited TV and computer time. I got maybe 2 hours a day. She could have friends over any time. I wasn't allowed to bring anyone home. The worst part was how she always blamed me for her mistakes. If she broke something, she told our parents I did it, and they believed her every time. I spent half my childhood grounded for things I didn't do. I remembered the day everything fell apart. I was 18, sitting at the kitchen table looking through college brochures. Kelly was already in college for 2 years, still living at home. You're thinking about college? She asked, sneering. Please, you're not smart enough. My grades are better than yours ever were, I said, and Mom and Dad said they'd help pay. Her eyes narrowed. We'll see. The next day, my parents told me Kelly got an amazing chance to train and intern in Europe. They had to support her. The money they'd saved for my college, It was going to Kelly instead. Mom said, "You don't really need college, Abigail. Kelly's chance is once in a lifetime." That was it. I lost it. I told them Kelly had planned this, that they were betraying me. I said things I wish I hadn't. Then I packed a bag and left. I stayed with my friend Emma for 2 months, worked at a restaurant, and worked hard. When the acceptance letters came, I picked the only school that gave me a full scholarship. Now, 12 years later, I was driving home from Kelly's fancy party, a party where I wasn't even welcome. But you know what? I'd built a good life without them. Maybe it was better this way. It was around the time of my engagement party, a big day I thought would bring everyone together. But now, things were very different. One day, I was at the Blackstone house, a beautiful event space I owned. Suddenly, Kelly showed up. She looked like she was trying to start trouble. "Are you stalking me now?" I asked quietly. Kelly rolled her eyes. "I'm not following you, Abigail. I'm here for work." I looked at her calmly and said, "Oh, really? Let me guess, you're here to clean up before your wedding?" She sneered. "Yes, something like that." I took a deep breath and said, "Well, I'm here to clean up the people who don't belong here. This building, the Blackstone house, is mine. I own it." There was a heavy silence. Kelly's face changed quickly. First, she didn't believe me. Then she looked confused. Finally, she got angry. "That can't be true," she said sharply. "You're lying." I pulled out my phone and showed her and my family my business license. Morgan Event Spaces. I started it 7 years ago. I own 6 properties and manage 3. The Blackstone house is our best venue. My mother looked shocked. "But we thought you were still a waitress." I shook my head. "If you had ever cared to know my life, you'd know I stopped waitressing after college, but no one ever asked." Kelly's fists clenched tightly. "This doesn't change anything. You have to rent to us. We're customers." I stood firm. "Actually, I don't have to, and I won't." Her voice rose in anger. "You can't do this. My wedding is next month. I already sent out the invitations with this address." I looked her straight in the eyes. "That's not my problem. At your engagement party, you made it clear I don't belong in fancy places with important people. Well, this is my fancy place, and I decide who belongs here." My mother stepped forward, trying to reason. "Abigail, please, we're family. Can't you make an exception? We'll pay full price, maybe even more." I wanted to laugh. Family? Where was family when you gave away my college money? Where was family when you believed every lie Kelly told about me? Where was family when you walked right past me last Saturday at that restaurant? My father tried to smooth things over. "Can't we just move forward?" I shook my head. "We are moving forward, without each other. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have real clients to attend to." Kelly grabbed my arm. "What about my other venue requests? Riverside Hall and Watson Estate?" I looked her in the eye. "I own those too." Her face turned red with anger. "You're doing this on purpose. You're trying to ruin my wedding." "No, Kelly, I'm running my business. You chose to apply to my venues without doing your homework. That's your problem." She screamed, "I'll destroy you. I'll tell everyone what a terrible person you are." I stayed calm. "Go ahead, write bad reviews, post on social media. My clients include the mayor, city council members, and the most important families in town. Last month, a Hollywood crew filmed here. But sure, go ahead." That evening, my phone blew up with notifications. Kelly had posted on social media about me, saying, "My own sister is trying to ruin my wedding. She owns venues and refuses to rent to me because she's jealous. Family means nothing to her." But instead of support for Kelly, the comments surprised me. "Wait, Abigail owns the Blackstone house? That's incredible. How did we not know this? Does anyone have her contact info? I've been trying to book the Blackstone for months." I watched as old family friends and distant relatives expressed surprise and admiration. Many asked why no one had told them about my success or about the fight between Kelly and me. I decided to respond. For anyone interested in Morgan Event Spaces, please visit our website. Our senior manager, Christine, handles all bookings. We have many beautiful venues available. My comment quickly got more likes than Kelly's post. People shared my business website, and within an hour, Kelly deleted her entire post. Later that night, Aunt Sarah called. "I saw Kelly's drama online. She's scrambling to find a venue now, but everything good in town is booked. She'll have to look outside the city, far away. Not ideal, but she'll manage." She paused, then smiled. You know what? We should have a family reunion for all the people Kelly didn't invite to her tiny wedding. I smiled. That's perfect, and I have just the place, the Blackstone house. Aunt Sarah laughed. Exactly what I was thinking. Same day as Kelly's wedding? Yes. I'll start making calls. The next morning, Maria, my assistant, told me we were getting so many inquiries from people who saw Kelly's post. By lunchtime, we had booked 3 new events. Sometimes bad publicity is the best kind of advertising. A week later, I got an email from Brett, Kelly's fiancé. MS, Morgan. I'm sorry about what happened at the Blackstone house. I didn't know about your family history. Kelly never mentioned having a sister until recently. I respect your decision. Best wishes. I stared at the email. Kelly had erased me so well. I was a stranger to her fiancé. Well, 2 could play that game. As I prepared for the family reunion Aunt Sarah was organizing, I felt something important. I didn't need their approval anymore. I didn't need their apologies. I had built something amazing on my own. The Blackstone house. My business. It was mine. I earned every bit of my success. The day of Kelly's wedding came, and it was perfect weather, a clear blue sky, a gentle breeze, the kind of day every bride wants. But Kelly wasn't getting married in the city. Aunt Sarah told me Kelly had been forced to book a place called Meadowbrook Farms, 45 minutes away. She had to arrange shuttle buses for guests, and because there were no good restaurants nearby, the catering had to come from the city. Half her guest list was cut to stay in budget. Our family reunion started at 6 p.m., the exact time as Kelly's reception. Aunt Sarah invited cousins I hadn't seen in years, great aunts and uncles, family friends who remembered me as a child, all the people Kelly had excluded to save money. At 5:30, I stood in the Blackstone's grand ballroom, making sure everything looked perfect. The tables had fresh white linens and flower centerpieces. Soft lights made the beautiful architecture shine. Outside, the garden glowed with strings of lights. Guests arrived right on time. Cousin Pete, who I used to play with at family barbecues, Great Aunt Helen with her bright red lipstick, Uncle George and Aunt Marie. Abigail. Aunt Marie hugged me. We had no idea this was your place. It's stunning. When did this happen? Uncle George asked, looking amazed. Last we heard, you were still in college. A few years ago, I said. How have you been? More relatives asked the same questions. Where have I been? Why didn't anyone tell them about my success? What happened with Kelly? I kept it simple. Yes, I built the business myself. No, I wasn't in touch with my parents or Kelly. Yes, it was sad we'd grown apart. Then cousin Rachel arrived, someone Kelly had specifically uninvited. Can you believe it? Rachel said, hugging me. She called me last week to say she had to cut the guest list because of venue limits, after I'd already bought a dress. The party was lively when my phone buzzed with a text from Aunt Sarah. Check Facebook. I opened the app and saw a post from one of Kelly's bridesmaids at the wedding. Beautiful ceremony, but the reception venue is interesting, very rustic. The buses are late, and many guests are still waiting. The bride is not happy. I smiled and put the phone away. At 9 p.m., my phone rang. It was Kelly. I stepped into my office to answer. You did this on purpose, she shouted before I could say hello. You planned the reunion to ruin my wedding. I don't know what you mean. The reunion, the same night as my wedding, at the Blackstone house. Everyone's there instead of here. Kelly, you chose to uninvite half the family. I'm just hosting the people you didn't want. This is typical of you. You've always been jealous. Is that why you took my college money? Because you were jealous? She hung up. I went back to the party. Aunt Sarah was telling stories about our grandmother. Cousin Pete was teaching his kids to waltz. Great Aunt Helen shared family gossip. There you are, Aunt Sarah called. Come, let's toast. Someone handed me a glass of champagne. To Abigail, Aunt Sarah said, raising her glass, who built something amazing from nothing, who showed us family isn't always about blood, it's about the people who stand by you, and who throws one heck of a party. Everyone cheered and drank. I felt tears but blinked them away. After the last guest left, I sat alone in my office, looking at the city lights. My phone had many missed calls from my parents and Kelly, but I didn't want to listen. Aunt Sarah knocked and came in. How are you feeling? Pretty good, tired, but good. I heard Kelly's wedding ran out of food because the caterer messed up the numbers, and one of the shuttle buses broke down. I laughed. That's awful. Or maybe not. Karma's funny that way. I nodded. Yeah. Your parents and Kelly, they missed out. They missed seeing you grow. That's their loss, not yours. I smiled, knowing she was right. All those relatives tonight, they saw the real you. They saw your success, and they're impressed. After she left, I walked through the quiet Blackstone house, feeling the warmth of the evening still in the air. My first event here made me nervous. What if no one came? What if I failed? But I didn't fail. I built something real, a place where people celebrate the best moments in life. My phone buzzed again. A text from Brett. Heard about your event. Sounds amazing. Sorry we couldn't work things out. Best wishes. I smiled and put my phone away. Tomorrow, there would be more events, more clients, more dreams to help build. But tonight, I was exactly where I belonged. The next morning, a reporter called. Someone at the reunion had told my story, and they wanted to feature women-owned businesses. I'd love to, I said. As I drove to work, I thought about how far I'd come from that angry 18-year-old who left home with just a suitcase and dreams. I lost my family. But I built something better. I found that family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's the people who show up when it matters, who cheer your success, who see your worth when others don't.